Warren, Johan, Anthony, Annie, many others. Your calls are coming up here in just a few minutes at 1-800-259-9231, 1-800-259-9231. I really appreciate Webster Tarpley spending so much time with us today. We've got him till a half hour into the next 30 last minutes of the show. I'm going to do a big news blitz and play some important video clips and give you my take on why they're getting rid of the South Carolina governor, or at least destroying his political fortunes. So that is coming up as well. But I do want to get into false flag terror and then the economy with Webster Tarpley in one moment. Before we do that, I have a few sponsors I want to thank who I believe in and I think are really great folks. And they also make this radio show possible. And one of those sponsors is Front Sight. This is the premier and the biggest in the country shooting training center for handguns, rifles, shotguns, long distance, you name it. And if you want to learn how to shoot good at 600 yards, 1,000 yards, I said 6,000 yards the other day, folks. I get numbers backwards. You want to go to Front Sight. It's frontsight.com, just the front of a gun sight. Front Sight, FRONTSIGHT.com. And look, I happen to know a lot of people went through their firearms training. They have their big jumbo course with the 30-state concealed weapons permit, with the free $500 to $600 Springfield handgun in your caliber you choose, the 5 days of training, everything for $1,100. What is it, $1,195? That would normally be about $4,000. But they've got a bunch of other free training online, a lot of great news, a free newsletter online. Just go check out frontsight.com, frontsight.com. And they've also got their phone number on there. I should get their phone number out. We had Dr. Ignatius Piazza on a few days ago. He gave that out. He said they got a lot of phone calls. But it's on the website, frontsight.com. Next time I plug it, I'll be sure and have the number for you, too, as well. And lastly, sponsor-wise, mysolarbackup.com. Great little unit. It provides 1,800 watts of power, 1,800-watt power generator, a high-efficiency solar panel designed to provide endless electricity. The government doesn't own the sun yet, folks, so make your move today. And this will power quite a few little things in your house. You can get multiple units and run more of your house, or enough units, the whole house. Great little proven solar panel itself, the little unit and the plugs that go into it. It's just a great system. All part of being prepared, getting more and more off the grid. MySolarBackup.com, or call toll-free to get a brochure or to order it or to inquire, 877-327-0365, 877-327-0365, MySolarBackup.com. And last but not least, let me digress now. Before we get into false flag terror, I wanted to briefly get Webster Griffin Tarpley's take on a few news items, and then we'll do false flag terror, then calls, and then the economy before he leaves us. But I wanted to bring this up because Webster really is a historian and a economist and author and journalist. I mean, he really is a great guy. And the more I research this stuff, the more I realize over the years how much Webster really does know. This is a crass plug. We carry both of his great books, the one about Barack Obama and his crime machine, and then the unauthorized biography of Obama. If you really want the straight poop, as they say, this isn't rumor, innuendo, baloney. This is scholarly, all available at Infowars.com. But I'll put you on the spot, Webster. You're obviously in the Obama deception, the main narrative voice in there other than myself. But in game, I remember I gave a speech in Chicago, first time I physically met you. I've been interviewing you for more than 10 years. And I remember you going, yes, excellent information, and then learning you had a great knowledge of the eugenics model, the idea of these people. The establishment is all moving at once right now as if they know their window of opportunity is closing. And they're moving with eugenics. They're moving with one-child policies worldwide, getting rid of tax credits for kids and even trying to tax having children. They are launching programs of climate cops, training children to tattle on their parents in the United States, in Australia, in Canada. It's in the news today, climate cops to fine wasteful homeowners and businesses. Austin's already setting this up as home audits, has nothing to do with energy. Literally, this commissariat, I guess would be the best way to describe it, but it's not communist. It's like a fascistic commissariat or political officer, and they have the green police. In fact, here's a shot of that for folks on prisonplanet.tv. Green police, and that as people lose their jobs, it won't be an FDR, build dams, build roads, build rest stops, build power plants. It will be literally tattling on neighbors, spying on people, watching surveillance camera banks. That's all in the news now. And the carbon tax, Al Gore. Can you spend a few minutes on that? Then we'll go to calls and then get into false flag and the economy. But, I mean, the Federal Reserve banker reform bill is a Federal Reserve can seize anything connected to any part of the economy, just the complete end of the Bill of Rights and Constitution. We thought Bush was bad. It's just a progression, an evolution from bad to worse, where the feds are announcing they're taking over the entire water supply, no more states' rights. They're announcing green taxes. They're announcing total takeovers, banking takeovers, Homeland Security report saying all gun owners and veterans are terrorists. I mean, it's so over the top, I'm having trouble processing it all. Are they trying to just bum rush us like a human wave attack of tyranny, where we may shoot down 5 or 6 of the things, but 3 or 4 will make it, and any one of these is like a hydrogen bomb being brought into liberty's bosom?
I would certainly say that one of the main goals of Obama from the very beginning is to undermine the rationality and the political will of the American people. In other words, we had this very interesting thing. A woman who worked for Obama by the name of Sarah last October came out with her confessions, and it was late October. And she said that the conscious goal inside the Obama campaign is to make you feel like your world is collapsing around you, that there's no hope, and that all the forces that you look to oppose the things that Obama stands for, that these forces were all simply collapsing, that they were all going over to Obama, giving up, and so forth. And in the books that you've mentioned, I compare this to certain passages of Mein Kampf by Hitler, where he says the main purpose of my rallies is to undermine the free will of people. In other words, to subject them to another will. And force them to do what the dictator wants. And
to switch on the reptilian brain, the primitive brain, to put you into...
I don't know about reptilian, but it's an appeal to irrationality, right? It's certainly an appeal...
I don't mean that as reptilian in a David Ickean way. Right, I mean the primitive areas of the brain.
Yeah, well, irrationality, which I think it's culturally there. I don't know about the physiological basis of irrationality, but there's certainly plenty of cultural irrationality.
Well, you're a smart guy, Webster. You know about the area of the brain that has aggression and sexual drive and all that. That's called medically the reptilian complex.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get into the idea of trying to explain human consciousness based on materialist or physiological basis, because it seems to me that most of this is culturally and psychologically.
No, I agree. It's more complex than that, but go ahead.
Whatever it is, Obama is appealing to the dark side. That's for sure. So Obama is an appeal to irrationality with the goal of making people the captives and the thralls of irrational drives, and therefore depriving them of their reason, because human reason is the point of all this, right? That's what we want to. We want to have a world where human reason plays the larger role, at least, and instead what they want is to have irrationality, unreason, and insanity rule the roost. And I would call them totalitarian liberals. Totalitarian liberal is a term that was coined for John Maynard Keynes, Lord Keynes, during the 1930s, and this was the way the British ran their show during the 1930s and into World War II. Totalitarian liberalism, meaning that they control every aspect, right, the stuff that you're going through. At the same time, it's the bankers who rule. In other words, the whole society is revamped according to what these bankrupt zombie bankers then and now.
Well, let me stop you again. Can you comment on a Malthusian view? She goes to China, Nancy Pelosi goes to China and says, everything you buy, sell, and do, everything you own, it's all going to be chronicled by the state. I mean, they mean business. This is neo-feudalism. This is a system of serfdom, economic degradation as a weaponized tool to keep you at a subsistence subservience level.